This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Unette Gentry. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Welcome to News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unette Gentry. And on today, we commemorate the anniversary of 1 October.
And today marks the third anniversary of the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. On the night of October 1st, which is today, but in 2017, 58 people died, and one additional person has died as a result of a gunman which opened fire from his hotel room on the 32nd floor of Mandalay Bay Resort in Las Vegas, sending more than 1,000 rounds into the crowd, which also injured hundreds of others. They were gathered for the Route 91 Harvest Music Festival. This morning, a remembrance ceremony was held outside the Clark County Government Center.
3 years ago today, a heinous act of violence rained down on our city, our county, and our state. Today, we remember and honor everyone involved that helped us get through those tragic times. To the families, you suffered a loss I cannot begin to imagine. Know that you are not alone. Our hearts and our prayers are with you every single day for the losses that you suffered. The victim families will forever be in our hearts from 1 October, and we will never, never forget what happened that day or the lives that were lost and the lives that were changed.
Though this morning's ceremony is much smaller than last year's, it's not because of 1 October is vanishing from our memories. The heroic actions and lives lost that night will never be forgotten. This year's remembrance is smaller, unfortunately, due to the unprecedented impacts of COVID-19. 3 years have passed since I stood before you and the public and spoke about the worst human loss in the community and the United States has ever known at the hands of a single suspect. The thoughts of that tragic night and its aftermath still bring back painful emotions. The shock and the confusion. It does not fade from one's memory. And for many of the victims' families, I know that 1 October feels like 3 days ago, not 3 years ago.
Due to COVID, I really did not think we would all be standing here this morning, to be honest with you, because of the way this year's been going. But just like the 2 previous years past, you made sure to keep your promise and honor our 58 and keep their memories alive. My name is Alvaro Rivera, father of 21-year-old Jordan Rivera, whose life was taken from us the night of October 1st. Unfortunately, 57 other families share my grief and dismay. We are all a statistic. We are all part of this unwanted fraternity that we didn't choose to be a part of. It's true we all grieve in our own way and at our own pace. There is no right or wrong way. May we all continue to lift up one another and continue in this life united. May we be patient and build each other up instead of tearing each other down. It's said that it takes more effort to hate than to love. Let's remember that.
And Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue and the Nye County Sheriff's Office responded to a fully engulfed vehicle fire this morning on Blagg Road and Eaton Avenue. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. That fire started near the back end of the car.
And on Tuesday, Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue responded with Nevada Highway Patrol to a 2-vehicle crash on Highway 95 near mile marker 24. One of the vehicles overturned following the initial impact. One person was transported by ground ambulance to local medical facilities with injuries sustained in that crash. The other person declined to be transported at the time of the accident.
And Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue and NCSO also responded to a large brush fire on Wednesday night near Escuela Avenue, and it was the mesquite brush fire that caused large plumes of black smoke. The fire was extinguished quickly, thankfully, by reporting fire crews. And stay tuned. News 25 will be right back with much more local news just ahead.
News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on. This segment of the news is brought to you by Southwest Medical, part of Optum Care, now offering same-day adult health care appointments. Call 775-727-6400 today.
Welcome back. Well, several large U.S. companies prepare to cut thousands of jobs. The GDP records a record fall from April to June, and Datadog Incorporated announces a major deal with Microsoft.
Topping our news, Americans nationwide are bracing for job loss. In the airline industry alone, more than 30,000 could be furloughed as that $25 billion government aid stopping airlines from cutting jobs ends today. Airline executives are asking for another $25 billion to keep workers on through March. At Disney, 28,000 employees will be laid off due to the pandemic, while Royal Dutch Shell is eliminating up to 9,000 jobs, and Dow Inc. will reduce its workforce by 6%. Datadog, a cloud security company, has a new deal with Microsoft's cloud computing. Checking the economy, GDP fell at a record rate from April to June, dropping a stunning 31.4%. The Chicago PMI index, a measure of business activity, rose to a surprising 62.4 in September. However, manufacturers still say more jobs could be cut.
Thanks so much, Angela. Turning back now to local news, Aries, Nevada presented at the September 15th Board of County Commissioners meeting with an amended plan to their project. They hope to add construction of a storage and energy regulation management facility here in Pahrump.
ARES, or Advanced Rail Energy Storage, is a clean, quiet, environmentally sensitive project that uses the force of gravity to store power when it isn't needed and supply it when it is. The patented technology employs electric locomotives that slowly and quietly move up and down a gentle grade to store and discharge electricity. The project uses no fossil fuel and no water, produces no emissions or hazardous waste, and sits lightly on the land. The amended project will go from 1 locomotive to 10. Howard Trott, CEO of ARES, and Katie Ritchie, COO of ARES, showed an animation similar to what will be put into place in Pahrump. The Gamebird substation will be expanded. The project will now have wheels and concrete for the locomotives made 100% locally, providing more jobs. The topography of Nye County enables ARES to construct a steeper project. ARES hopes to break ground on the project October 9th.
Living Free Health has already opened a men's and a women's transitional house that provides a whole health, safe solution for drug and alcohol abuse recovery. Now they are working on their third home that will provide the same for women with children and pregnant women. News 25 spoke with Shelley Poerio about the progress.
We're actually fixing up the house. We have a women and children's house now, and it also is going to serve pregnant women as well. So it's a new program. We got grants for it for the program, which is called PCAP, which is Parent-Child Assistance Program. So we'll be hiring 2 new employees for that. In addition to that, we've got a grant that's going to help us fund the house here and also our existing men's house and our women's house.
This is going to house how many?
We'll probably house about 6 women and probably up to 4 or 5 children. It's not clear. It kind of depends on the census that we get, and then we'll make adjustments as it goes based on need. But I think the really important thing to understand is that this is the only house like this in the area, number one. And number two, there are so many women who need to get into treatment and need transitional living or help, but they don't have anyone to help with their children. And so not having a safe place for their children to go holds them back from going to treatment. So this is going to solve that problem.
And so this is kind of scheduled to be open about mid-October?
About mid-October, yes, give or take. We're trying to get it fixed up as fast as we can. We've got some bunk beds on order, and the internet's coming today, so we're on our way.
Yeah. And so how do people get into these treatment facilities? What's kind of the criteria for that?
They would need to be appropriate for treatment. So what they would do is come into Living Free Health. We would assess them. We would determine what their need was. If they were appropriate for that level of care, and assuming that they are, then we'll put them in treatment.
Can other people help volunteer to get this going?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have a number of people. I put posts up on Facebook, and I put my phone number so that they can contact me, text me, call me, etc. But yeah, it's open for the public to help us. We had tremendous help in 2018 when we started the Women's House and also the Men's House. So we couldn't get it done without Pahrump.
Yeah, exactly. So if people want to volunteer, if they want to get involved, if they need your services, which are vast, how do they contact you?
If they need our services, they can call our office number at 775-505-1625. If they're looking to volunteer and help, they can call that number as well and ask to speak to me or get in touch with Dave or Ed, and we'll get back to you.
And also you have a website if people want to find out what services there is to offer, right?
Absolutely. Our website is livingfreehealth.org. And we just revamped that website. It's almost done, but we have a local company doing that for us too. So we're very, very Pahrump oriented, and we're really focused on serving the rurals.
And after this break, attention all fellow shopaholics, your chance to grab goods for a good cause. We'll tell you the organization to help after this break.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Well, the Moose Lodge is gearing up for its annual yard sale fundraiser. News 25 spoke to Jim Cornell about this weekend's event.
All right, I'm here with Jim Cornell. Let's talk about this weekend. You got something happening here at the Moose Lodge?
Yeah, we're going to be setting up for our annual yard sale that we have. October 1st we'll be setting up, and then we'll be selling on the 2nd and 3rd. And it's our annual fundraiser for the lodge to help the lodge keep going and keep having our community service events when we're going to be allowed to do them.
These are items that have been donated throughout the past year?
Yeah, people hold on to them, and then when we have the sale, they bring them down. They'll be bringing everything down Thursday to get everything set up. We'll have the room, have to wear a mask, and we'll be distancing. We'll be watching that very closely.
If people want to donate, can they still do that?
Yes.
And how
Just
do they
bring
do
it, just come down Thursday morning and drop it off.
All right, fantastic. And then the yard sale, the details of what time?
From 8 in the morning until 4 on Friday and 8 till 2 on Saturday.
And where are you guys at?
1100 Center Street, right on the corner of Center and 2nd Street.
How's it going with the kitchen? Because I know you guys had a fire.
Well, we did, and thank God we survived that. We've got everything up to code, and actually we've been classified as a commercial kitchen now. And the restaurants, the kitchen's usually open during the lodge hours and everything, so you can come down and get appetizers, dinners, what have you, and then we have special dinners as well.
Do you have to be a member to come on by?
You do have to be a member.
And so if you would like to find out more about becoming a member, how can they do that?
They can call the office here at 775-727-6577, or just ring the buzzer. Somebody will let you in, and they can give you the information.
Thank you. All right, well, with flu season fast approaching, doctors want to make sure kids are vaccinated, especially since we're also dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. If your little ones are learning remotely, you might think a flu shot isn't necessary this year, but that's not the case.
Just because your child is learning remotely doesn't mean influenza is moving remotely. It is also still out in the community. It's not just in the schools. It's in in stores, at parks, and individuals around you. So we still expect influenza to continue to move from person to person and place to place.
Getting a flu shot is especially important to help reduce the number of hospitalizations this fall and winter to prevent overwhelming our healthcare system, which is already dealing with COVID-19. Dr. Frank Esper with Cleveland Clinic Children's says flu season is inevitable, but he hopes it won't be as bad, mainly because people are already following social distancing guidelines and wearing masks for coronavirus. He says children under the age of 2 are most at risk for flu, but it can also infect healthy kids of any age and sometimes lead to serious complications. As for how effective this year's flu shot will be, he says only time will tell, but regardless, it's still better to have some protection than none at all.
It really prevents how many people who do get influenza virus. If you got the vaccine, you're much less likely to get hospitalized. And so it may not prevent you from getting the flu. It does prevent you from ending up needing oxygen, from ending up being hospitalized, or even more so going into the intensive care unit.
Dr. Esper says children ages 6 months and older should get a flu vaccine. He adds that both types, shot and nasal spray, are acceptable.
And in today's Save a Pet, we're once again at Desert Haven Animal Society, where today we're meeting Dodge.
Today's Save a Pet is proudly sponsored by Jason Ernest with Mountain West Lawyers. Call 775-727-9500.
Today, we meet a 12-week-old kitten named Dodge. This gray and black domestic short-haired cat was found as a stray, having been stuck inside the door panel of a pickup truck. Yes, a Dodge pickup. If you'd like to meet Dodge or any of his friends available for adoption, you can stop by Desert Haven Animal Society, located on Ceres Lane behind the Nye County Courthouse. Just call beforehand at 775-751-7020. You can also see all of the pets available for adoption on Facebook at Desert Haven Animal Society.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Hi, it's John Kohler. All of us here at KPVM Channel 25 and Ace Country extend our thoughts and prayers to the victims and their families on this third anniversary of October 1st. We'll be back with the weather report right after this.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios, and this is your awesome weather report from Fernley. Here, it's 87 degrees is your high today, 47 for a low, 87 also in Fallon, and 42 for a low this evening. 88 in Carson City, staying strong in those high 80s. Look at that. You're warming up a titch up there in Carson City. 42 for a low tonight. Tonopah saw 86 degrees, 41 for a low. Out in Goldfield, 87 degrees and 41 for a low. Then we break south to Beatty, which, I did a little bit on Beatty yesterday. I misidentified a whole bunch of animals. I said they were donkeys. They weren't. They were burros, and I was corrected and chastised, okay? And now I know what a burro looks like. Looks like a little donkey. 55 for a low in Beatty tonight. Amargosa saw 102 degrees for a high today, 57 for a low. Out in Las Vegas, 101 degrees on this anniversary of October 1st, and 65 will be your low tonight. Out in Death Valley, you've got a binary temperature, 111 for a high and 71 for a low. Let's take a look at the local temperature, shall we? 98 degrees is where we're at here in beautiful Pahrump. All right, 100 degrees was our high today. Winds out of west-southwest, not a big deal, 5 miles an hour, not a lot of smoke. Bright golden haze on the mountains. That's about what we got. It's bone dry, though. The humidity is 5%. Doesn't get much better towards morning. We'll take a look at that. The sunrise this morning was 6:39 a.m., and it will set tonight at 6:26 p.m., so we picked up about 4 more minutes of night. All right. A low of 59 degrees will be where we settle on as we head on towards morning. Humidity point at just 12%, and the winds out of the east-northeast at 6 miles per hour. Well, let's take a look at the rest of the week, shall we? Let's do that. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yes, we're coming into the weekend. High's going to be in the upper 90s, mid to upper 90s. As we extend throughout the week, we'll peak out pretty much Friday night, so that's going to be about as hot as it gets for the next week. And lows in the low 60s. Looks like we're going to get a little bit of cloud action coming in Monday. Won't that be fun? Give us a little shade and relief in our enjoyment of the 90 degree. All right, back to the two of the nicest ladies in all of Nye County, Yannette and Deanna. Here you go. That's your report.
Thanks so much, John.
Thank you, John. Very good report. And yes, from all of us here at KPVM-TV and Ace Country Radio, we do extend our hearts and prayers to all of the victims' families of the October 1 incident, and we hold that very near and dear to us. That's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Yannette Gentry. And again, from all of us here at KPVM and Ace Country Radio, we would like to say, let's all stay Vegas strong and Pahrump strong.
Good night.
Good night.